Hey guys, I'm back, and today we're going to be talking about US Agent. So US Agent is really boring, all right? Like I'm just going to get right straight to it. Like he is a boring character. Conceptually, he is very boring. Where he's interesting is when you put him against Captain America, and he is a foil to Captain America. In Marvel Strike Force, I think they captured who US Agent is conceptually, which is nothing, boring. What I'm hoping to talk about today is some ways that maybe we could kind of capture that thematic foil element where he's the opposite to Captain America. So let's start off with where US Agent is right now, what he does in the game, and then I'm going to talk about some ideas I have for how to make US Agent better. Usually these episodes, I just talk about the character first, and I'm like, oh, by the way, these are the improvements. The US Agent's bad. He's bad in this game, and he's a newer character. He's bad. He is like honestly one of the worst kits in this entire game. Borderline. Like US Agent is absolute garbage. So let's start with that. Let's lead with that baseline. So let's take a look at his kit. Interestingly, he does not have the military tag of all characters. Now, of course, the military tag doesn't do anything, but maybe there'll be some ideas here where it could do something. But this is like the military character. Like I cannot believe he does not have the military tag. It's just, of the many times tags are not given to characters in Marvel Strike Force, this is one of them that is just like baffling. This is US Agent's team, or was his team. This team's dead. It was okay. I didn't play the game really while this team was meta. I was on the back end of this team's life where the Hive Mind team came out probably about 3 months into when I was playing again. So I did use the Rebirth team just slightly, but I didn't build them up that high. As you can see, Captain America and Captain Carter did get built up higher because I do need them for out of time. And that's kind of where the Rebirth team is right now. This was a bad team. I just want to say, like, conceptually, I don't like this team in terms of like what is this Rebirth? Like they just decided like these are people who had second lives. Like literally every hero has a second life. It was so bad. Like what a like, oh yeah, characters who were born again, but only the 5. Adam Warlock, the guy who literally revives himself, he's not Rebirth though. He does not count as Rebirth. So of these like weird tags, this is one of those weird tags that I do not like at all. I honestly think we could cut the Rebirth tag from the game. Agent Venom, he can be symbiote and military, so he could work over there. US Agent, military. Winter Soldier, Hydra / military. Captain America and Captain Carter can be like Avengers, or out right now they're currently out of time. I don't know why they took both Captain America and Captain Carter. Like they feel very similar to me in terms of like they just sit there and take damage for the more valuable characters. And I was like, man, like we need to take both of the captains. Like we're not even gonna like try to make US Agent good or something like that. But anyways, so I think honestly, don't build this team, and I want to see this team completely cut from this game. All 5 of these characters should never meet up again. Okay. Oh, Captain America and Captain Carter, they can meet up again, but everyone else, like, go your own way. Go find your own team. I don't want to ever see this team again in the game. So I'm glad that it is out of the meta. Let's talk about US Agent's kit. This is gonna be quick. Actually, this is a cup of Dr. Pepper right here. I had to pour soda for this episode because I was getting sleepy here thinking about US Agent's kit. So let's take a look at it. All right, so here's his passive. I will say I think the icons are good for this kit. I do not think they thought much farther on US Agent than like the fake Captain America in terms of like he is Captain America, but he doesn't really throw the shield that well, and he's not as strong, and he uses a gun, and like it's like they never thought about him like conceptually like past that, or like what he's most supposed to represent within the Marvel universe. The developers are smart. I know they're smart. The people who designed the gameplay are smart, but I just think they were restricted when they originally designed US Agent. He was probably, honestly, I don't even know why he was picked for this team. He was like probably the last one. We're like, we need one more character to put on this Rebirth team. So like US Agent, and then I wouldn't be surprised if he was the last one they designed, and then they just kind of had to like throw in like a little bit of something where he could have a purpose on the team, but like he's never been the focus of the team. So I don't know. I think he was restricted with his original design, but let's take a look at that. On turn, he clears a positive effect from all enemies. So this isn't bad. I kind of like this conceptually. Like he is like an evil Captain America. I like this idea of where Captain America inspires people. US agent like uninspires the enemy team, or like he strikes fear in them. I think that is an interesting opposite effect, and sometimes that just barely shows up in his kit with how it is right now, but we're going to show you. I'm going to show you. I got some good ideas for how we can bring that through a little better. The only other thing of note is when Rebirth allies block, he fills their speed. So this was like their raid gift. Like this was how they became a raid team, because they got a ton of speed. Captain Carter, Captain America, and then US Agent, like all three of them are blocking. At least those are at least that I know of. You know, Winter Soldier and Agent Venom, I've never read their kits because they're not that good, but you know, I'm sure they're blocking sometimes too. So that's how the team got their speed, and that's why they're a raid team. You know, raid teams kind of need that gimmick to speed through the match and kind of run laps around the enemies. So he was the provider for that. So he was really there for the passive. He has a similar passive here with Captain America, where he gets bonus block chance plus bonus block chance, quite an alliteration there, bonus block chance with Rebirth allies, and then he gives them some focus. Which, I mean, I guess, like, who cares? But, like, most of this is locked behind raid. All he is doing, you know, cut out most of this. Cut out this second line right here. Cut out this bottom line. All he is doing most of the time is clearing one positive effect from all enemies on his turn. Like, that is it. You will see that. Like, his kit is empty outside of raids. Like, this is it. This is the basic attack. Like, this looks like something from Launch Day on Marvel Strike Force. The launch characters had more to it than this. He attacks somebody, he shoots his gun, and then he gets them to deflect. So, I mean, it makes sense. Deflect works with the team because I believe that counts as a block, which works towards this bonus they get for blocking. But, like, okay, like, this is so boring. Now we got the special. So, again, you're like, whoa, 3 paragraphs, like, that's something there. This whole bottom chunk, this does not apply with outside raids. So most of the time, now that they're no longer a viable raid team, like this is all he's doing, this top part right here. So anyways, it is kind of cool when this fully works. He'll attack somebody, apply ability block, and he'll chain and apply ability block. So that is useful. I like this part of the move that is locked behind raids, and he needs not only raids, he needs Rebirth allies in raids. Bonus attack the enemy with the most amount of speed right now, and then he gives them ability block. So this is kind of conceptually like the person who is about to go on the enemy team, like he can run up there and keep them from doing anything super big during their turn. So that's, again, this is really built with raids in mind. They're trying to find ways for you to run laps around the enemy team and keep the enemy team from starting to roll. This ultimate, again, also same as the special. I like it. I mean, this is like the moment from the Falcon and Winter Soldier show. So I do like that this is in his kit. But most of the time, this literally is you are attacking one person for 300% pure. I guess they can't be revived, but he's not going to kill anyone. He does not have that much damage. In raids, he does apply stun, and he applies slow to all enemies. So like within raids, this does do a little bit more, but again, they're not relevant for raid teams anymore. So this doesn't matter. Really, he's just going to attack somebody for 300% piercing. Like that is it. So let's take a look. Pros. None. I think this is an out-of-date raid team. His kit was just kind of, it feels like they had to, they're like, oh, Rebirth team was like almost strong enough for the raids. We're just going to give them like a couple extra things like, you know, they're not quite fast enough. US Agent can put it slow with his ultimate. Or, ooh, like they kind of get burst down by like a big attack from them. You're like, let's give you a little bit of an ability block with US Agent, and then he can speed them up a little bit, you know. It felt like he's just here to fill in like a couple of the blank spots that the more competent portion of the Rebirth team cannot handle. Cons, he's weak. I think we could go harder with the theming here, and he's bland. So, you know, like his kit, he is absolutely worthless outside of raid. So it is just, and because they are not in raids anymore, like I've been saying, like he that means he is worthless, period end. So let's take a look. What does he have for him in the future? I will say, of characters that are left behind in Marvel Strike Force, US Agent actually has a fairly good chance of getting a rework. He is going to be in the Thunderbolts movie. I believe that's coming up eventually. I think a bunch of characters are potentially lined up to get a rework with that. Like I think we could see a Red Hulk, we could see a Baron Zemo, we could see a Ghost, you know, Winter Soldier. There are a bunch of villains that are in Marvel Strike Force that are like mediocre to bad. Not Red Hulk. Red Hulk's really good, but a bunch of villains in this game that are very mediocre that I'd imagine the thought is Marvel is waiting for the Thunderbolts movie to then go and make the Thunderbolts team and bring a lot of these villains together and rework them. So I do think US Agent is going to get a rework someday. Unfortunately, I think it's going to be like a lot of these other reworks where it's like, hey, he can only work on the Thunderbolts team now. And then once the Thunderbolts team is out of date, he's back to being useless. So today a lot of these kits, I'm trying to kind of make them like for all time, like they should be useful. Like they're not restricted to some team being in the meta or something like that. So while I acknowledge that Thunderbolts is likely where US Agent is destined to end up next, that's not really going to show up in today's kit. And I've spoken about this. I want to include more of this foil to Captain America's kit. I really think that would make US Agent conceptually interesting. Captain America, we covered him in the first episode conveniently before we talked about US Agent. So Captain America provides blocks, he's taunting, applying defense up. Like he is just an absolute tank. Like he does not let anyone hurt his team. He's healing them. Very useful. So let's take a look at how we can incorporate some of that kind of stuff into US Agent's kit. So right here, we can keep this clear and positive effect. And then I'd make this fill speed bar by default and then give it for all allies. Like, how many characters actually block consistently in this game? Like, it really is mostly just Captain America, Captain Carter, and like, I can't even think of other characters that block right now. Like, I mean, the characters that have shields tend to block. Like, I think Riot Guard, like he might, Mercenary Guard or whatever, he might block. But like, really, blocking is not that frequent in this game. I do not think, and you know what? I'm willing to be wrong. You know, say blocking, like, so there's somebody who's going to apply deflect to the team and suddenly US Agent could get subbed into the new Avengers and he would make them really good again. Good. I would like to see that. At least US Agent has a niche to fill in the game. So, and then plus block chance, and so he would be built off military allies. So that is a tag that is not utilized really right now. I think we should see Captain Marvel with that tag, Punisher with that tag. I don't believe the World War II characters have the military tag. Don't quote me on that, but if they don't, they should. I think military is just like a Nick Fury. I think he should be on that team. There are a bunch of military characters in this game that I think I like that conceptually as a point of synergy. So I really think giving him that flexibility to work with this military branch of characters instead of this 5-person Rebirth team, you know, this allows for a little bit more plug and play for US Agent. And we had to up this. Okay, this basic attack was boring originally. So we kind of made it the inverse of Captain America's. Captain America is applying defense up with his basic attack. So now we have US Agent applying defense down to the enemy team. So kind of, again, the inverse. It's kind of interesting. So for his special attack in raids, he would attack the person who had the most amount of speed bar. I'm getting rid of that part of it. I don't care about it. That was kind of built for raids to try to give the team a little bit of flexibility in terms of facing off against a lot of different threats. And you know, who cares? US Agent does not do that much damage. I don't like, great. I'm super happy that he attacked the guy that's about to attack us. That doesn't change anything. We're still going to get absolutely destroyed by this person because US Agent, there's no chance that he's going to be the one to kill the person. So anyways, now he's going to do the ability blocks like he would have done before with the special, but we added this bonus attack where instead of attacking the person who has the most amount of speed bar, he's going to attack the highest defense stat opponent. So that would theoretically be Captain America if he was going against the team that Captain America was on, because he is super tanky. Or he'd go against the tank on most teams. He'd kind of be a counter to tanks, kind of what Captain America is. Kind of interesting, I think. And not only would this highest defense stat allow him to target the Captain Americas of enemy teams, then he's going to clear all positive effects and then apply disruptive. So this is like the ultimate counter to Captain America, because you're going to get rid of the taunt, get rid of the defense up, get rid of the, you know, the healing or anything else they got on him, the regeneration. Should use proper terminology for Marvel Strike Force. Then he applies disrupted, so Captain America cannot get that taunt back online to protect his team. Like, this is like the ultimate counter to Captain America. And not that Captain America is that good, but again, conceptually, I think this would be a very engaging way to add that foil element for Captain America and US Agent. And then of course, this could be useful against other teams that have pretty strong tanks that you want to get through. And then his ultimate, really, I tuned up the numbers here. You know, now he's applying slow and defense down to all enemies. So again, Captain America, he applies defense up to his team a lot. So we're going to have US Agent apply defense down to the enemy team a lot. So we're trying to go for that opposite of Captain America. I hope you guys find my ideas for these changes to US Agent kind of interesting. I liked US Agent in the TV show. I like what he can represent thematically speaking. I do not think they've captured that in Marvel Strike Force. I think they put in, this could have been a minion. This could have been a generic military minion. And there's so much more I think that could be done with US Agent that I hope, I don't know, some of these ideas, instead of him just being relegated to the Thunderbolts, and then once the Thunderbolts die off, he's destined to be garbage again. I think there's perhaps a niche for him in this game with that block, increasing speed. You know, cool. I mean, because in some ways, U.S. Agent is still a leader. Like, he tries to be a leader like Captain America. He is not the same type of leader, but it makes sense that he's buffing up the team with that increased speed bar. And then he's kind of like a tank assassin, which is like kind of, you know, it sounds like very evil. And that kind of fits for U.S. Agent because he's the opposite to Captain America. So that would be really interesting. And then he'd be putting out defense downs on the enemy team to help your team push the advantage and put the enemy team in a disadvantaged state. So he would now focus on, instead of Captain America putting your team in a state of advantage for you to attack and take hits, now U.S. Agent is going to put the enemy team at a state of disadvantage. So then you could be dealing more damage to them. I think that would really fit the offensive evil atmosphere to U.S. Agent as opposed to the defensive, you know, heroic good guy nature of Captain America. So I'm happy U.S. Agent made it into this game. I'm all for like D tier characters, especially with Falcon and Winter Soldier and Thunderbolts. He is relevant to the future of Marvel. I just would really like to see some love given to this character because he is honestly so bad. He is so bad in this game. But what do I really know? Because I am just a 22-year-old. Next episode, we're going to talk about Cyclops. That was a request in one of the comments section, so that goes out to you. We're going to talk about Cyclops next. I like him in this game. I like him a lot more than US Agent. Let's just say that. I think Cyclops, especially after his most recent rework, is pretty good right now. So, hope you guys all have a nice day, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.